Intentional. What you up to now? Day 3,113. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. That's what my initials are. She. Today, our topic for both Supersize Challenges is intentional. Being intentional in our living, being intentional in how we scale and grow our business. And we talked about why and how why to be intentional and why that's so important to create what it is that you want in your life. Because most people, me included, for at least 2 decades of my life, probably more than that, it was probably the first 5 decades of my life, I was just going through the motions, and what showed up is what I responded or reacted to. And I realized that before my sudden cardiac arrest, that's how I had been living. And I actually had been living in the what is wrong with this situation. WTF had become my voice in my head primary question. Not a good primary question. Why? Because it presupposes there is something wrong and effed up and that I need to deal with it. So guess what? Life just kept giving me more stuff that was super messed up that I had to deal with. And following that event, luckily enough, I did wake up in the hospital after being in a freezing and medically induced coma for, I think it was like 7 to 10 days. I was out, right? I don't remember. Anyway, and I have never gone back and looked at my medical records or read any of it. Why? Because I intend to never have anything like that happen to me again. And so I don't want to feed my brain any of that. I did research, however, how do I make sure that something like that never happens to me again? And I made massive changes in my life, in every area and aspect of my life, in my personal life, in my relationships, in my businesses, in all of the life framework areas, right? Every single one of them got an overhaul. Well, today we are starting in on the SOAP framework in the area of spirituality. Spirituality impacts all of us. We all have a spirit, whether we believe it or not. We all have an energy and a vibe and a spirit that we give off, and we're all connected to something outside of us and bigger than us, again, whether we believe it or not. So we're going to talk about that all this month. And we're applying the SOAP framework to a challenge area in our spirituality. Maybe you've never had any belief or understanding or knowing that there's something outside of you out there, right? Yeah, you just thought it was all of us humans going through the motions on this planet, living this one life. And I know a lot of people that believe that. I choose not to believe that, and I guess I've got some personal critical experience that backs up my beliefs, not what some other people believe. But guess what? We all get to believe what we want to believe. And if we intend to live a better life, we will intend to understand ourselves and our beliefs better than just going through the motions. What else is going on? Supersize challenges, of course, through the end of the year. Will I keep doing them next year? I don't know. YouTube and people tell me to stop it, but I probably won't, because I do it as much for me as for other people, because it keeps me going. It gets me up every day, moving in the direction I want to go, which I intend to do. But if I weren't doing that, would I do it? Probably not. I would probably get lackadaisical like all of us do, and I would just roll into some less than optimal behaviors, actions, and habits. And I don't want that to happen, right? We only get so many years here. And so I want to make sure I'm making the most of them. So talking about intention, starting the SOAP framework, we talked about the S in the SOAP framework, which stands for story or situation. And we're going to write down and identify what is the current situation with respect to a spiritual aspect of our life that we want to improve or change or fix because we know it's broken. And then what is the desired state? What does the end state? What does good look like? What does success look like in this area and with respect to this challenge that we're having? Only we can decide that, because we want to have that picture in our minds so we know that we're going from where we are to where we want to be. We want where we want to be rock solid, awesome. And we do that by intending it, by creating the outcome that we have in mind, by writing it down and then thinking about it throughout the rest of the steps of the process and beyond. I am involved in a coaching program that is stretching my comfort zone. And part of that is direct messaging. If you've known me for any amount of time, I have done almost no direct messaging unless somebody reaches out to me, then I message back, of course. And I don't always do that on different social platforms. Instagram, I think I just looked and I had messages that were like 4 months old, because I just post on the platform and I don't engage on it. But I'm changing that as part of this coaching as well. So stretching my comfort zone just like everybody else all the time, and realizing that I don't have to do it forever. I won't do it forever. I'll go back to the way I prefer to do it, meaning I engage with people that I'm working with or that I know and that I'm having relationships with. But I realize in order to grow and scale and supersize, that's a solved problem in just about every industry. And if I want to continue to teach people and help them to do it, then I need to be a good example of that, right? And I'm on a new platform. The school platform is new to me. And the online world, even though I hopped on in 2017, I've just pretty much dabbled in it and kind of watched from the sidelines, and that changes now as well. All right, if I can help you anyway, if you have any questions, hit me up and ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.